The sagas of Icelandic prehistory, known as the Fornalda saga, tell more about Ragnar's marriages than about his feats of warfare. Traditional oral histories, or sagas, which were consigned to manuscripts in Iceland at the beginning of the 11th century, relate details of the Viking way of life. In the hit television series Vikings, Ragnar has two wives, Lagertha and Aslaug. Lagertha the fierce, axe-wielding Shieldmaiden, and Aslaug a princess daughter of the Shieldmaiden Brynhilda. However, history books tell a different story, of another wife. So who were these women? In this video we will focus on unlocking the stories behind Ragnar's three wives. Lagertha, the most loved wife of Ragnar, and the first. She is written about in the 9th book of the Gesta Danorum, a 12th century work of Danish history. According to legend, Lagertha was a Viking shield maiden. But in the beginning, Lagertha was actually a noblewoman who was put into a life of prostitution before meeting Ragnar. Ragnar's grandfather was killed by a man called Fro. The new king placed all the womenfolk into prostitution as a means to humiliate them. Ragnar drew conflict with Fro, and many women in captivity dressed as men acquired weapons and joined Ragnar's side in battle, Lagertha among them. According to the Viking myths, Ragnar deemed the fight was won due to the warrior skills of Lagertha, a skilled Amazon who, through a maiden, had the courage of a man and fought among the bravest with her hair loose over her shoulders. All marvelled at her matchless deeds, for her locks flying down her back betrayed that she was a woman. Impressed by her bravery in battle, Ragnar attempted to woo Lagertha. But she didn't make this easy for him. Lagertha set a bear and a dog outside her home that Ragnar would defeat before they could wed, which he did. During their marriage, Lagertha gave birth to 2 daughters and a son, Friedlif Ragnarsson, written in the tales of Ragnar's sons. The marriage went sour at some point, and Ragnar divorced Lagertha. Some say he put his marriage aside in order to pursue his next wife, Thora. But Lagertha's story didn't end there. Ragnar called upon Lagertha to assist in conflict over his land and title. She came to his aid, despite being married again to a man with political power. Gesta Danorum notes that Lagertha came to Ragnar's aid because she was still in love with him. From battle, Ragnar reclaimed his title. After the conflict had ended, Lagertha returned home and killed her husband and decided to rule on his behalf. In Vikings, Thora is portrayed as Ragnar's son's lover. According to the Icelandic sagas, Saga of Ragnar Lodbrok, noblewoman Thora was Ragnar's second wife. Thora was a daughter of King Harald. Legend has it that the king had a dragon problem, a snake grown out of proportion within their town. King Harald offered his daughter's hand in marriage to whoever could kill the snake. Ragnar rises to this challenge and slays the monster snake and wins Thora's hand in marriage. The unusual protective clothes he wore during the attack on the serpent earned him the nickname Hairy Breeches, translated to Lothbrok. Their marriage is a happy one and results in 2 sons, Eric and Agnar, who were later slain by the Swedes for their battle to dethrone the King of Sweden. When Thora falls ill and dies, a heartbroken Ragnar goes raiding rather than ruling, and one summer he sails to Norway and stumbles upon a farm where Aslaug lives. Following the death of Thora, Ragnar remarried Aslaug, making her his 3rd wife. Aslaug is the daughter of Sigurd, the dragon slayer, and Brynhilda, the shield maiden. Conflict results in the death of her parents when Aslaug is but 3 years old. She ends up in the care of Haumur. Concerned about her safety, he hides her in a harp case, pretends he is a beggar in order to conceal their identities. When Ragnar comes across Aslaug, he assumes she is a peasant. She does not correct his assumption. Desiring to marry her when he learns of her beauty, he sets her a test of wisdom, basically a riddle to solve. Appear to him neither clad nor unclad, neither sated or hungry, and neither alone nor in company. She passes this with flying colours, appearing to him wearing a net, holding an onion in her mouth, and with a dog as a companion. They go on to have many sons, including Ivar the Boneless, Bjorn Ironside, Sigurd Snake in the Eye, and all 3 would grow greater in stature and fame than he. Unlike the series Vikings, Bjorn Ironside is actually her son and not Lagertha's, and different from the show, in the sagas, Lagertha and Aslaug's paths would never cross. When Ragnar set sail for England for the last time, he was overwhelmed by the forces of King Aelle and was thrown into a pit of snakes. Legend tells that Aslaug had a premonition that this adventure would not end well. She had seen something horrible would happen to Ragnar. She weaved him a magical shirt blessed by the gods to protect him. When the snakes in the pit refused to bite Ragnar, King Aelle realises the shirt is acting as a repellent, and once the shirt was removed, Ragnar died. How authentic is this information? It is hard to justify this fact because there are so many contradicting accounts of these times. But the sagas that we've used for the purpose of this video tell it in this way. My advice? Take it with a pinch of salt. These women were often fictionalised, influenced by tales of the Amazons. But one thing is for sure. In almost every aspect, we see Viking women as equals to their male counterparts, striving vengeance, standing up to their husbands, taking on the roles of leaders, starting fights. Heck, they could even divorce their husbands if they weren't happy. The sagas are peppered with references to feisty, strong-minded matriarchs who would pursue blood feuds and galvanise their menfolk into action. So that was our brief history of the key women that held Ragnar's heart. Hopefully made a little simpler and easier to understand. Hopefully you enjoyed and got what you came for from this video. If you would like to see more videos on Viking history or perhaps the role of the Shieldmaiden, then comment below. Let us know what you think about Ragnar's wives in the comments below. See you next time on History Unlocked.